I broke my line on the hook set on the ice, and I've got this fish. He's a dandy. This is a dandy. That's the other thing. When it's this cold, coming up. There we go. Hey, welcome to Hooked on Utah. Today we have got a freezing cold adventure for you. You know what? We thought we'd come out and try our hand. The Soldier Creek side of Strawberry. It's harder to access this time of year because the road is closed off and you got to snowmobile or walk in a long ways. And we've got our first fish of the morning, and it is a behemoth. Let's see if I can get this guy out without losing him. Oh, he's a big fish. There's our first fish of the morning. He's an absolute fatty piggy right there. It is minus 13 degrees. See if we can pop him out. I'm gonna put him right back in. Look at the belly on that fish. What an absolute hog. Hey, I hope you enjoy today's freezing cold adventure. Minus 13 degrees, sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of ice fishing. All right, let's put this bad boy back. Down he goes. Oh my gosh, it's cold. It is so cold. Okay, so here's our plan for today. Just caught our first fish. We snowmobiled over to the Soldier Creek side of the lake. Like I said, this whole side, you can see there's hardly a track on the lake. And it's because that road hasn't been plowed since we've had all this incredibly awesome snow. So we snowmobiled over here. We're gonna hit a few rocky points that I like to fish in the spring and ice off because they usually hold some really big fish, and that was our first fish of the day. We're gonna get going. It's actually so cold, my Mega Live transducer, because we rode out on the snowmobiles, it's colder than the water, keeps icing up and it won't work. So we'll get it warm, get it going, but we're gonna hit point after point. If the fishing slows down, we'll show you some techniques that will help you catch more fish when the temperatures are below zero. So let's get after it. So if you haven't fished in these kind of temperatures, the big challenge that you have is it's so cold that your hole will freeze over fast. Your mealworms and waxworms will freeze. And it's super difficult to keep your, everything warm and going. And so if you're not using a tent, and that's why for us, it's hard with the tent, just simply for filming. But so hand warmers in your, in a container with your mealworms and waxworms will keep them soft and keep them alive. And then you just got to make sure that you're layered up really good to stay warm. Otherwise, when it's negative 13 like it is this morning with just a slight breeze, it can be really hard to fish. But the fishing can be excellent at times when it gets this cold. So if you don't have a tent, that's just one of the things you need to be aware of, is just how do you maintain your body heat, keep everything functioning. It's a bit of a trick. So we're in 13 feet of water. I just dropped down again. Second time, had a fish immediately come on it, and then he kind of went away. So we'll just see what happens here. Try some different techniques to see if we can't get these fish going. But our first drop produced a first fish. Second drop, I had one on it, and we'll just kind of see what happens. Okay, so this year I decided to do something different. In years past, we've just drug our sled everywhere, and I'm gonna tell you what, it's a lot of work. So this past summer, I made the decision that I wanted to get a snowmobile, and I looked on all of the different places where you can find sleds, and I found myself a 2007. I budgeted, knew that I could spend a little bit, so I went and got an older sled. It's a 4-stroke. That's what I wanted. Sled, and let me show you some modifications that I've made to it. One of the first things I did is I actually wanted to have a box to carry tackle and my some camera gear, and then this mount here is for my Mega Live. And you can see I've used 2x4s Found a box that I wanted. I've got a little strap here, and this just simply keeps the box from tipping over when we're unloading it. I put a couple of eye bolts on it and a little aluminum bracket using existing holes in the sled that actually had threaded bolts on the other side. This bracket just keeps it from sliding back into the sled. And then what I did is I lined it with some heat shield because the 4-stroke has the exhaust up here. And this allows me to put all my tackle in and camera gear inside here. On the back, there's a hitch underneath, and I can actually hook up my sled and drag it behind. So it's really a nice, cost-effective way for me to get all my gear out here, and I wanted to be able to go to different places. So I found you can find a really, really good used sled. One of the coolest things that I've done to this sled, on top of a couple of these mods, is this. And because the 4-strokes are heavier, they've got a lot of power, a good reliability, I found the Flexi Ski. This is made in Utah. This is unbelievable, right up in Logan. And they've been in business for decades. They make all kinds of skis for snowmobiles. For deep powder, to give you more lift, it has dual carbides underneath, kind of a tunnel, and then it's got a wider footprint. This is the Gen 2, which was made for heavier 4-strokes. They make a Gen 3, which is an 8-inch. This is a 10-inch wide. It's awesome, man. The ski flexes. I can't believe how much better this sled rides on the snow since installing these, and they're priced very reasonably. So you got to check them out. Go to flexi-ski.com and check out what they have to offer. You can get into a really budget-friendly sled, but I'm going to tell you what, if you want to have performance on slush, because you're going to add weight to your sled, and adding all that extra weight, I wanted to ride on top of the slush and the powder. You got to try these Flexi skis. You're going to love them. It's the Simmons Flexi Ski, flexi-ski.com, and they're made right there in Logan, Utah. How cool, another killer Utah company producing killer outdoor products. Came back down with me. Come on. Come on, tap it. Oh, that was ever so slight. Oh, I was slow. He just barely. See if he'll come back. Oh, he chased it back down. Here he comes. Oh, he had it in his mouth. He picked it up on the fall. There we go. Oh, see if I can keep it. Here we go. Oh, he feels like a good fish. Good fish. Oh, he's fighting hard. The hole here is about, man, it's probably 18 inches. Another really nice fish. My reel's having a hard time. It's frozen and it doesn't want to stay in the lock position. Let's see if I can just get this guy. Look at that. Another beautiful fish right here. We'll pop him free. When it is this cold, if you're not in a tent, you got to be quick with the fish and drop him back into the water. So there's a gorgeous fish. We'll put him in the water. That is fish number 2. How cool is that? And that is on my Christensen's tackle loony. This is the Wonder Bread, and I've been tipping it with a wax worm, and it's just absolutely killing them. So pretty dang cool, man. How awesome is that? Absolutely loving it. That's fish number 2 on 2 drops. That's 2 for 2. So today could be a really good day. Mega Live's working, got the ice off it. Here's a fish on us right now. Here's my jig going up. He's kind of coming up to look at it. I'll drop it. He's circling it. Kind of come back up a little bit, see what he does. It looks like there's 2 fish there. And this gives you a really good idea of what the fish are doing. He's just kind of circling. Let's see if he'll come over and tap it if I dead stick it. He's circling away. Oh, see a second fish. There's 1, 2. If I kind of come up a little bit. Oh, he didn't like me. He kind of darted away with me lifting up. That's what you learn from this Mega Live you can't see on the 2D is what the fish do and how they react to every movement you make. Here comes one in. Here comes 2 in from the shallow side. Oh, then they darted out. Got a fish. This one's aggressive. He came right in on it. He's turning. Oh, he tapped me. Oh! I got him. I still got him. I broke my line, but I got this fish. I broke my line on the hook set on the ice, and I've got this fish. He's a dandy. This is a dandy. That's the other thing. When it's this cold, you got to be so careful. 4-pound test can be a little brittle. This is a good fish too. Oh gosh, this is a good fish. Oh, he's a piggy. He's a piggy. Look at that. That's on broken line. I just hand lined that fish in. Let's pop that out, the loony out. So, oh, he's not letting go of my loony. Look at that fish. Look at that. That's a gorgeous fish right there. You know, he's 20, 21, but he's a solid 3 pounds. That's a gorgeous fish. I'll dip him real quick so you can see the colors on him. Look at that. Gorgeous fish. On broken line, I caught my line and hand lined it in. Oh my gosh, we'll put him back, let him go. There we go, fish on. Very nice. Nice, nice, nice. Feels like a good fish. And little rainbow looks like. Very cool. Very cool. Check it out. Let me get this guy unbuttoned. Little bow. Nice little fish. Look at that. Good looking little fish. Good colors on him. Look how pretty. Really pretty. Put him back, let him grow. Somebody will whack him later this summer. Show you what I've got. So I thought I'd try something out. I put on a little flasher, a little dodger, and then I just went to a really small pink and white jig and tipped it with a wax worm. Because I had a bigger jig on. I went to a bigger paddle tail after the loony just to try something different. Fish came in, they looked at it, and then they were like, I'm out of here. They didn't like it. So went to a smaller one, and that guy came right in and just rocketed in on it. So trying something to attract the fish in, a little flash down there, and a little different jig. We'll just mix it up and see what happens. So the loony, top performer so far, but there's one on this little teeny pink crappie jig. Dude, he's looking right on it. So here comes one. It's coming down off the side now. He's gonna take. He wants it. Oh, did you see that? Oh. He wanted it. There we go. And he came back. That is so easy to tell the mood of the fish, man. I mean, there's another little rainbow. Look at that. So we've had some big cuts and we've got some bows cruising through right now. But there's just something about the Mega Live. You can just tell the mood of the fish. That's just kind of that same carbon copy of the one we just caught. Look how pretty. He'll put on a ½ a pound this winter. He'll be a nice eater in the summer. Very, very cool. So here's what we're learning so far. The bigger baits, the fish were a little bit wary, and that's not uncommon for this time of year. Well, oxygen levels kind of change. The mood of the fish changes. We know that we're deep into winter, and so fishing can be sporadically good. But then what'll happen is, as we get closer to ice off, which is a long ways out, hopefully, fishing will pick up. It's just, you got to time it right. You really got to look at your major times and minor times on your favorite fishing app, the best times for catching fish, and you'll have more success. And you want to go to Sportsman's Warehouse, bite the bullet, get a Humminbird Mega Live. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, so I changed up to a Spaz. I love Spaz, Kokanee Co. They're another local Utah company, and that's it. This is their little spaz. Green little creature. I'm gonna do the chartreuse glow, just see what happens. The spaz, made by Kokanee Co. You know, you've got Christensen Tackle, the Loonies, and all of their creature baits. We've got some rad local Utah companies that are producing some killer kokanee and ice fishing tackle. You know, we've got Jared Johnson and his company. They make some of the very best kokanee stuff, but let's give this little spaz a go, see what happens. There we go, fish on. He went right down and sat on it. This feels like a better fish. This is a Christensen Tackle rod, really strong, stout rod. Look at how long that guy is. That's a nice long one. So when you got a fish pulling that hard on a good stout rod, you know you got a good fish. Let's just pop him out. He liked the spaz, baby. I'm telling you. We've got some local tackle companies where you can go to Sportsman's Warehouse and pick them up, and they are producing great fish. This is Kokanee Co's spaz. There we go. Look at that guy in the light. Beautiful. Beautiful fish. Let's get him back. Cold. Torpedoed down. He is gone. And the spaz, man, look at that. That's a great looking bait. Glow in the dark. And I love them because they come scented with anise and krill. They've got all kinds of cool scents on them. And they're oiled up in the package. So you just drop on a mealworm, waxworm, some, you know, night crawler. But man, they're an effective bait. The loony, the spaz, rocking good baits. This guy's cruising in with a little bit more, he has a little more intent, it looks like. Yep, fish on. That's just the example. That fish right there, as soon as he showed up on the graph, he was committed. Feels like a really good fish. There he is. Look at that. Another just classic cutty. But he's absolutely loving. They love these little bugs, man. Such great baits. Spaz and the loonies are just fabulous. Let's see. He's right at the top. Pop him out. And look at that fish. Gorgeous. That's going to be a fun fish. He's a little thinner, but this summer he'll put on a little more weight. You know, some of the fish we caught earlier in the morning were fatties, big footballs. But the fish that we're catching now, they're just coming in from, they're actually higher in the water column. The ones that are on the bottom, they're more kind of the sleepy fish. Everyone that we've caught in the last little bit, they've come in from probably 10 feet. They shoot straight across, come down, bam, tag it, and it's game on. So what I'm learning is a little higher in the water column, those fish that are on the bottom that are just kind of drifting along, they're really the sleepy fish that are looking at it, trying to decide if they, you know, if they want to play. So keep that in mind when you fish. You start noticing everything cruises in about 10 feet or 15 feet. That's where you want to start your presentation. You'll catch more fish, and then watch your graph and see what the fish do. Does a little bit of movement entice them? Dead sticking, is that where the bite's coming from? Or do you need to jig? Like, I will notice that if I don't have anything on the graph and I jig a couple of smooth up and down jigs and then stop it, it brings a fish in almost every single time. They see it from a distance. So change it up. I got a fish on the graph. Let's just see if we can go down and get that guy. He's gonna play. This guy's playing. There we go. There we go. Like clockwork, he came in from that same depth, about 10 feet. He shot in, oh, and he pops off right at the hole. But what we're learning is the bite is 10 feet. We're in 16 feet. But the fish are coming in, they're cruising, and when they see it, they're coming in aggressive for it. So, you know, that's the learning. I didn't even go to the bottom. I went right to 10 feet, and he came shooting across and grabbed it. So that's awesome. We're starting to figure out the bite now. Kind of got her dialed in. Pretty cool. Oh, look at this guy. This is a fish for sure. There we go. That is just like clockwork, man. You see how fast he came in from the side? Oh, he's a big bow. Nice rainbow. came shooting in, and the second he got into it, he circled it, circled it. That's a nice little football. Look at that chunk. That's a great rainbow. Awesome rainbow. That's an eater. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna take that guy home with me. He's gonna go on the smoker. So that guy's going home. If I get another big rainbow, I think I'll take him home too. It's time to smoke a little fish. You know, I like to roll them up and just, I'm kidding, put them on the smoker. What am I talking about? Here we go. Oh. Got another fish coming in. Look at this, another beautiful little rainbow. You know what? That is a great little guy right there. Awesome, man. That guy came in just like we talked about. He shot in from the side and absolutely went after this little spaz bait. So the fish on the bottom, they're done for this window. Look at the colors. Just want to show you the colors on this guy. Look at that. Look at that deep purple. How beautiful. This guy's going on the smoker too. He's not huge, but he's a perfect eater. These actually taste the best. So he's going on the smoker as well. Nice little rainbow. You know, one thing you can always check is the fins. As long as these are white on the tips, you're safe. And this is a rainbow. He's totally safe. White tips, no orange on them. That's a nice little rainbow right there.